यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी श्री राधा कालाचंद जी की, श्री राधा गोविंद जी की, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री गौर निताय की जय, शीला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद। नमामि विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामी इति नामिने। नमामि विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य Hare Krishna. So today we are speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 7, entitled The Killing of Demon Trinavarta, and verse number 18 to 37. So before starting reading the translation, I would like to welcome all of you and express my gratitude that you all are here. So, so far we have studied about killing of Putna, naming ceremony, and Shaktasur. So today we are going to discuss about Trinavarta. Let's start verse number 18.
One day, a year after Krishna's appearance, Mother Yashoda was putting her son on her lap, patting her son on her lap, but suddenly she felt the child to be heavier than a mountain peak, and she could no longer bear his weight.
feeling the child to be as heavy as the entire universe, and therefore being anxious, thinking that perhaps the child was being attacked by some other ghost or demon, the astonished Mother Yashoda put the child down on the ground and began to think of Narayan. Foreseeing disturbances, she called for the Brahmanas to counteract this heaviness, and then she engaged in her other household affairs. She had no other alternative than to remember the lotus feet of Narayan, for she could not understand that Krishna was the original source of everything.
So, in this translation, it is mentioned that Mother Yashoda was in anxiety that my child is again he's being attacked by another ghost or a demon. Who was the ghost? Shakatasur. He didn't even have his body. He was a ghost. He came to attack Krishna to kill him. He saw that when Krishna, there was a success attempt of killing Krishna during Putna, he thought that let me reside in this cart. And that cart was very huge, very big, and was having some brass pots and all. So he wanted to kill Krishna, but because of the mercy of Krishna, and he showed such a playful feats that when he was crying, he just kicked it. It is touched by the feet of lotus feet, tender lotus feet, not the feet which is like extended by Vaman Dev. So it is considered that Krishna by his lotus feet, which is, he was just 3 months. It was Utthan Leela. When he started crawling. In our day-to-day life, we see kids, they take longer time to sit and crawl. But during that time, Krishna was in rush. Because he wanted to play with his friend. He wanted to show his pastime with all his friends and gopis. So, within his 3 months, he started turning around and crawling. And that's when they were celebrating that Utthan Leela. And that cart's asur, that Shakatasur, was touched by Krishna and was being killed. And then they were all worried. After that, it was 3 months. But within that gap, now they are discussing about the past time when he was about to be 1 year old. Every day, Kansa used to send demon, but if they are going to mention each and every demon, it will be very voluminous. So it will be very difficult to keep the record. So now we are reading about the time when Krishna is going to be turned 1 year. So that time, Mother Yashoda was carrying her baby in her lap, and she was passing through her palace, main part of palace, and she just came out. And since Krishna is mystic, Krishna knows everything. Knowing the impending danger that somebody is going to come to play with him, not to kill him. Krishna is not scared of demon. So he was thinking that he will come and he will take me. Just to protect his mother, he wanted his mother to be safe. So he's playing a part. He's using his mystic power, which is Laghima. Laghima, when you become very heavy. So she felt her son has become all of a sudden so heavy that she just bent. Yeah. And it is mentioned by Kavi Karnapur that when she is bending, she was acting like a creeper full of loaded fruits and flowers. When a creeper is hanged by beautiful fruits and flowers, so that is hanged. So just to protect her child not to fall from her lap, because he became all of a sudden as heavy as mountain. So she just sat him down carefully. Now, and also she was so astonished that all of a sudden what happened to my son. So she engaged Brahmana to chant. It is not mentioned here, but Kavi Karnapur in his Anand Vrindavan Champu has mentioned that I would refer Anand Vrindavan Champu. So she engaged Brahmana to chant the hymns to protect the child. That what happened to my child, he became so heavy. And she went inside to do her work. Because Yog Maya illusioned her mind. She would never leave Krishna. But at this point, she left him. Now next.
Text 20. While the child was sitting on the ground, a demon named Trinavarta, who was a servant of Kamsa's, came there as a whirlwind at Kamsa's instigation and very easily carried the child away into the air.
Now, demon also used to make plans. Putna came as a as a beautiful lady. She hid herself in the form of a beautiful girl, a damsels. Nobody could recognize. Shakatasur came in cart. He thought, I will come in the cart. But Trinavarta thought, I will come in my form. I will give him challenge.
Covering the whole land of Gokula with particles of dust, that demon, acting as a strong whirlwind, covered everyone's vision and began vibrating everywhere with a greatly fearful sound.
Now we can imagine, since this Trinavarta came as a whirlwind, cyclone, so it is not a small whirlwind. It was like a huge, which was covering everywhere, all the space of the Braj with all his dust and the smoke. And it was as dense as if nobody was able to see each other. All of a sudden, if we can imagine in this room, there are the clouds, there are the smokes, there are the dust, nobody is seeing each other. How miserable we would be. So when we are reading, when we are going through these texts, just try to understand their situation, what they are going through. So it was vibrating everywhere. It is said that when this Trinavarta came, that it was so loud that, when you go to a market where they are making plates and all containers and all, there is a sound like boom, 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 boom. So his sound was like as if blacksmith bellow. It was creating a lot of vibration. So everybody was very fearful, what is going on? Yes.
For a moment, the whole pasturing ground was overcast with dense darkness from the dust storm, and Mother Yashoda was unable to find her son where she had placed him.
Yeah, since that sound was happening, that horrifying scene was appeared, and since because of illusion she left her son outside, so she wanted to reach her son. At this moment, she thought, what I have done? I left my Krishna here, so I should better go and get him.
Because of the bits of sand thrown about by Trinavrita, people could not see themselves or anyone else, and thus they were illusioned and disturbed.
Yeah. It is said that it was so much dusty that dust particles were dancing in Trinavarta, in that whirlwind. They were moving around very nicely. But Braj people, that Brajvasi, they all were scared. So it was scary for Brajvasis, but for dust particle, it was a dancing movement. So everybody was running here and there. And it is said, Kavi Karnapur mentioned very beautifully that this whirlwind was so hot that heat was felt as if wives of thousands of serpents are, breathing out in the separation of a snake. So it was poisonous. It was like, very deadly. And also that wind part, he is mentioning that wind has become the main ingredient of the nature. Material nature is made up of 5 gross elements. But at that moment, it was so much wind that everywhere it was wind, wind, wind. Yes. Next.
Because of the dust storm stirred up by the strong whirlwind, Mother Yashoda could find no trace of her son, nor could she understand why. Thus she fell down on the ground like a cow who has lost her calf and began to lament very pitifully.
Now we can understand the plight. Actually, nobody can understand the plight of Mother Yashoda. Can you imagine when a child is 3 months old, how tender he is? Very tender, very little, tiny. Even 6-month-old is very small. So 3-month-old child, that cart fell on him. When he was just 6 days, we are trying to understand what she is going through. When she was only 6 days, Putna, a demon who was like few miles long, maybe 8 miles. It's so huge, 8 mile wide and 12 mile long. So she was very huge. She came to attack Krishna. And now, she left her son outside. So she is very, very aggrieved. So at this point, it is said that her only companion was the, unconsciousness. If she does not get unconscious, she will die. Because that pain of suffering, that time, is unbearable for Mother Yashoda. If we put ourselves in that situation, like we can maybe 0.0001% we can understand. But she was in sheer pain. So she fell unconscious. And she lost her consciousness, and she was lamenting like as if a cow lost her calf. Next.
When the force of the dust storm and wind subsided, Yashoda's friends, the other gopis, approached Mother Yashoda, hearing her pitiful crying. Not seeing Krishna present, they too felt very much aggrieved and joined Mother Yashoda in crying, their eyes full of tears.
Because center of Braj, a Gokul, was Krishna. Everybody loved Krishna. So when they found out that she is looking for Krishna, and she somehow left Krishna outside, so everybody was crying. Everybody was trying to console her, trying to find Krishna. Next.
Having assumed a form of a forceful whirlwind, the demon Trinavarta took Krishna way high in the sky. But when Krishna became heavier than the demon, the demon had to stop his force and could go no further.
Yeah. So now at this moment, before that, Krishna showed his Siddhi, where he was very heavy. He became very heavy. And now he is becoming very light, so that Trinavarta can take him away quickly before Mother Yashoda comes. Because if Mother Yashoda comes, then she will be hurt by him. That Krishna does not want. Next.
Text 27. Because of Krishna's weight, Trinavarta considered him to be like a great mountain or a hunk of iron. But because Krishna had caught the demon's neck, the demon was unable to throw him off. He therefore thought of the child as wonderful, since he could neither bear the child nor cast aside the burden.
Yes. Okay.
With Krishna grasping him by the throat, Trinavarta choked. Unable to make even a sound or even to move his hands and legs, his eyes popping out, the demon lost his life and fell, along with the little boy, down to the ground of Vraja.
So when Krishna climbed on his neck, he was actually riding on the top of Braja. He was seeing that panoramic view. He was enjoying it. And actually, by his smell of his body, which is like a husk. You know, husk, in Hindi it is called kasturi. So when deer has that husk in his neck, when he is moving, then he feels that where is that smell is coming from. So he chases that smell not knowing that it is inside his body. So Krishna has that wonderful smell. And when he was riding close to the heaven, all heavenly damsels, they got attracted and they wanted to see Krishna. And knowing the heart of damsels of heavenly planet, because Krishna is like wish fulfilling. So he rode Trinavarta till heaven. He gave his darshan there. But he controlled Trinavarta. He did not let him go wherever he wanted. Because Trinavarta wanted to take him away and like throw him down, kill him. It is not easy. So Krishna is doing his roller coaster ride on Trinavarta. So Krishna controlled him and put his pressure again on Trinavarta. It is not like that now I have become light, now you take me wherever you want. So now Krishna became so heavy that Trinavarta wanted, oh, just move, go away, like Putna. She wanted Krishna to go away, but he was not leaving. First you are catching me, now I have caught you. I will not leave you. So Krishna was not leaving him. So he was feeling so suffocated. He was feeling as if there is an iron ball in the cloth. He wanted to get rid of it. He is in the grip of the death. Krishna is now death personified for him. Because he does not want to drag all these things for a long time. He wants to play with his friends. So he started striking him. And he was feeling unconscious. Then again a strike. Then in final strike, he fell down dead on that flat slab. Hari bol. Next.
While the gopis who had gathered were crying for Krishna, the demon fell from the sky onto a big slab of stone as his limbs dislocated, as if he had been pierced by the arrow of Lord Shiva like Tripur Asura.
Now who's dead? Trinavarta is dead, right?
God.
Krishna is there. Now let's see. What happened next?
The gopis immediately picked Krishna up from the chest of the demon and delivered him free from all inauspiciousness to Mother Yashoda. Because the child, although taken into the sky by the demon, was unhurt and now free from all danger and misfortune, the gopis and cowherdmen headed by Nanda Maharaj were extremely happy.
Now, Kavi Karnapur says that Krishna was playing on that body of that demon, who was like a playground for him, because his body was very huge and flat. So he was playing on it. So he was looking like as if a river of nectar in the desert. He was looking like a parijat tree in that thorny bushes. So he was giving so much solace, so much happiness to Brajvasi when they saw him playing there. He's like a blue sapphire. When Nanda Maharaj first time saw Krishna, he was not even able to speak because he was very different. We cannot conceive Krishna, how he looked, but it is mentioned he is like a blue sapphire. He's not dark blue. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati says that if you want to, perceive the close color of Krishna, that you see the rain-filled cloud, and when the lightning comes and you happen to see that lightning, you can feel the color of Krishna. So he is not black, he is not blue, but it is said he is blue and black. His color is like very mystical. So he's very beautiful. Yes, next.
It is most astonishing that although his innocent child was taken away by the Rakshasa to be eaten, he has returned without having been killed or even injured, because this demon was envious, cruel, and sinful. He's been killed for his own sinful activities. This is the law of nature.
Yeah. So this is Gramya Katha. This is, you know what it is? This is Gramya Katha. They are talking among each other. Like when something happens, people get together and they talk to each other. So these Brajvasis are talking. See, this Yashoda has so much pious activity that because of her pious activity, her child is saved from such a danger. And this is the prestige of this dynasty, Nand Maharaj's dynasty. And now they are talking that this demon is so sinful that he is disturbing us. He was disturbing entire Braj. He is disturbing all the demigod. Now just because of his impious misdeed, he is being killed because of his sinful reaction. So they are talking among each other that what is going on.
An innocent devotee is always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and a sinful person is always vanquished for his sinful life.
Yeah, because Krishna always protects his devotees. Actually, let me ask you one question. We don't have so much time to read the purport, but can you give me some example where devotees are protected by Lord if they are among sinful people? Yeah. And any other? Yes. Pandavas. Any other? Yes, Vibhishan. Nice, wonderful example. Yes, Draupadi. Very nice. Or Srila Prabhupada. One time Srila Prabhupada was in Bauri, I guess, and he was attacked by his roommate with a knife. Who can imagine? He was running for his life from upstairs to downstairs. He was 70 years old man. It's very difficult. He was running down. He was walking outside. There was people who are called bumps, I guess, in American language. They were lying on the road and he was like hopping over them. And he called one of the person who he knew, just take me from here. So if we put ourselves in such a situation, it's very difficult to imagine that what he went through. But Krishna protected him. Because these are very few thousand years old example. But this is recent example of Srila Prabhupada, which devotees have seen. Yeah. Yes. All these demons in the society, they are trying to kill. They don't want this Krishna consciousness to be spread. Next.
Nand Maharaj and the others said, "We must previously have performed austerities for a very long time, worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, performed pious activities for public life, constructing public roads and wells, and also given charity, as a result of which this boy, although faced with death, has returned to give happiness to his relatives."
So now in this talk, they are just putting different argument. that now since we have done pious activity, that is why this child is protected. Actually, I wanted to ask that do you remember any example from Bhagavatam or from anywhere else where king was very pious and he was suffering and he got to see Krishna? Just because of his pious activity, there was one sinful activity which he unintentionally done, and what? But that is attachment. Yeah. Actually, there is an example of King Nraga, if you remember, that King Nraga was very pious. He used to do all social work. We think that by doing social work, we can achieve the higher destination. But in this example, if we see that King Nraga, he did a lot of pious activity. All the pious activity which we can think of, he was doing. Digging well and giving a lot of charity, opening different places. But just there was one mistake, that whatever he donated certain set of cows to other Brahman, and one cow came back to his herd and he donated that herd to other Brahmana. And these Brahmana started picking fight. And when it happened, that it counted as a sinful activity on king's part, which is like not knowingly he did. It was unknowingly happened. And for that he had to suffer, because he had a lot of pious activity for which he could have enjoyed heavenly planet for a long time. But he chose, because Yamraj asked him to choose, so he chose to suffer first. So he became lizard. And then Krishna gave him darshan. So my question is that do you feel that by his pious activity he got the darshan of Krishna? Because it is mentioned here that our relatives are happy, we can be protected, we can be materially protected and prosperous by pious activity. But we really can get Krishna, darshan of Krishna, like King Nraga got?
My thought was not necessarily, it's only Krishna's causeless mercy that we get darshan of Krishna. We might put ourselves in a good position by the mercy of the devotees, but we can't buy Krishna's darshan, we can't buy Krishna's love, we can't purchase it by activities. It has to be given by Krishna's just desire to have his devotee come back to him.
Yes. So actually what happened to King Nraga, he was attached with his activity. When we get attached to the result of our activity, we have to suffer, whether it is our mistake or not. So in his case, it is mentioned in that purport that he helped one devotee for Srimad Bhagavatam. He arranged something for a devotee. He wanted to preach or have Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So just because that devotee said, you helped me, then you would get darshan of Krishna. So it is not because of his pious activity he got darshan of Krishna. Just because he helped devotee. So because of his causeless mercy, he got darshan. So always Krishna factor comes through devotees, not karma kanda. By doing this, we will get this. Yes, materially we will be benefited, but we should keep in mind that Krishna is not, as Nand Braj Prabhu said, Krishna is not purchased by our pious activity. He has a lot. He can give us in abundance. He does not need our pious activities. We need him. He needs us, our love. That's all. Next. So all these are coming as an argument among people because they are talking when they found Krishna finally.
Having seen all these incidences in Brahadvana, Nanda Maharaj became more and more astonished. And
So
he
point to be noted, this is Brahadvan. Sorry to interrupt you, Prabhuji. Yes.
And he remembered the words spoken to him by Vasudeva in Mathura.
Yes.
One day, Mother Yashoda, having taken Krishna up and placed him on her lap, was feeding him milk from her breasts with maternal affection. The milk was flowing from her breast, and the child was drinking it up. O King Parikshit, when the child Krishna was almost finished drinking his mother's milk, and Mother Yashoda was touching him and looking for his beautiful, brilliantly smiling face, the baby yawned, and Mother Yashoda saw in his mouth the whole sky, the higher planetary system, and the earth, the luminaries in all directions, the sun, the moon, fire, air, and seas, islands, mountains, rivers, forests, and all kinds of living entities, moving and non-moving.
When Mother Yashoda saw the whole universe within the mouth of her child, her heart began to throb, and in astonishment she wanted to close her eyes, restless.
So these are small pastime when he used to play with Mother Yashoda. So it is mentioned that after she got scared, it is mentioned that when she found out that Krishna is there, she got Krishna back, she started lamenting that what kind of mother am I? First she said that Krishna, you give me so much pain. Since you are born, I am suffering because all the other time the demons they keep coming, and in our home a child is born and so much is going on. So she is like in so much sadness, and she's saying, since the day you were born, we have been suffering. And then she said that no, you are not the cause of suffering. I am the cause of suffering because this is my mistake. I have put you out in this dangerous situation. This is my mistake. So she is lamenting. Now somehow all the gopis, they pacified Mother Yashoda, but she still had doubt that what happened to Krishna? Why all of a sudden he became heavy? Then he played the pastime. One time she was breastfeeding him and she opened her mouth, or he yawned. It is mentioned, it is yawned, right? So in his mouth, she saw entire universe, as if Krishna wanted to tell her that, Mother, don't worry, I became heavy because I have all the universe in my tongue. That is the reason I became heavy. All these things are the, or the commentary of Acharya, like Kavi Karnapur and Jiva Goswami. They all are like very elevated soul. They write commentary on all these things very poetically, where we can enjoy all these pastime in different way, in their vision, actually. Let's come back on verse number 26. Trinavarta Shantarayo Vatya Rupadharo Haran Krishnam Nabhogato Gantum Nashakrodha Bhuri Bharabhrat. Can somebody repeat? 2 person. Trinavarta Shantarayo Vatya Rupadharo Haran Krishnam Nabhogato Gantum नाश क्रोध भूरि भार भृत. One more person. तृणावर्त शांतरयो वात्य रूप धरो हरन. कृष्ण नभो गतो गंतुम नाश क्रोध भूरि भार भृत. What meaning? Trinavartah, the demon Trinavart. Shantarayah, the force of blast reduced. Vatya Rupa Dharaha, who had assumed the form of a forceful whirlwind. Haran, had thus taken away. Krishnam, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nabha Gataha, went up to the top of the sky. Gantum, to go further. Na Ashaknot, was not able. Bhuri Bhar Bhrat, because Krishna then became more powerful and heavy than the demon. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Having assumed the form of a forceful whirlwind, the demon Trinavarta took Krishna very high in the sky. But when Krishna became heavier than demon, the demon had to stop his force and go no further. Can somebody read purport? Mr. Bhagwan Prabhu, can you please read?
Here is a competition in yogic power between Krishna and Trinavartasura. By practicing mystic yoga, asuras generally attain some perfection in the 8 cities, or perfections namely Anima, Lagima, Mahima, Prapti, Prakamya, Isitva, Vasitva, and Kama Vasayati.
Actually, there are many more mystic siddhis. These are the main 8 siddhis.
But although a demon may acquire such powers to a very limited extent, he cannot compete with the mystic power of Krishna. For Krishna is Yogeshwar, the source of all mystic power.
Yes.
Yatra Yogeshwaro Hari. No
So
one can
we
compete
all
with Krishna.
should, sorry Prabhuji, I will be speaking in between. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So we will keep in mind that these mystic power, if we want to dedicate our life to learn mystic siddhi, that we cannot get the perfection for that, because Krishna is Yogeshwar. Krishna is a master of all mystic power. So it's better to take something which we can get benefited, not to spend our life in something which we cannot get in full. So the best is to become a servant of a person who is a master of all these things, Krishna. Then he will give us. And it is said that when you become pure devotee, all these siddhis, all these liberation become your servant. So it's better to become a servant of a person and get all these things as a servant. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Sometimes, of course, having acquired a fragmental portion of Krishna's mystic power, asuras demonstrate their power to the foolish public and assert themselves to be God, not knowing that God is the supreme Yogeshwar. Here also we see that Trinavarta assumed the Mahima Siddhi and took Krishna away as if Krishna were an ordinary child. But Krishna also became a mystic Mahima Siddha. When Mother Yasoda was carrying him, he became so heavy that his mother, who was usually accustomed to carrying him, could not bear him and had to place him down on the ground.
So,
Thus Trinavarta had been able to take away Krishna away in the presence of Mother Yasoda.
1 minute, Prabhuji. So if we meditate on this Mahima Siddhi, what is this? What is the actual meaning of Mahima Siddhi here? What this Trinavarta is representing here? So this Trinavarta, it is said that the zenith of Trinavarta was up to heavenly planet. It was going higher and higher and higher. So it represents our scholarship, our knowledge. So when, because of our knowledge, we are going higher and higher and higher than others, we want to go higher than others, then Krishna comes and he grabs our neck. And he hit on our head until Trinavarta is dead. What is Trinavarta? The proud, the mentality of pride. Like, can somebody give me example when Krishna, in any form, in any incarnation, he did this to a person? He was so proud and puffed up. Krishna did not like it. Please use the mic. Yes. Kalia. Okay. Okay, Nandabraj Prabhu said Kalia, yes. Yes, good example. There is an example in Chaitanya Leela as well. Somebody would like to give any example from Chaitanya Leela? Any example? Anybody? Chaitanya Leela, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela. But Shishupal, in case of Shishupal, he was puffed up. But he was an offender. He did not become devotee. He was killed by Krishna. Like Keshav Kashmiri, yeah. So Keshav Kashmiri, he was very puffed up. I was hearing in a lecture of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj that education could be very effective in our devotional life, and also education could be detrimental in our devotional life. Education in the sense of our misdistinction. In any sense, materialistic, material education or any other kind of qualification we have. So when Keshav Kashmiri had such a distinctive knowledge that he created this 100 verses on Mother Ganga in moment of time. So what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did? He did not say anything. He just found 2 fault, 2, 3 fault, whatever number of fault in that. So he was stuck with wonder that nobody can compete me. How he understood all these verses, all these lines, and was able to find out the mistake. If we understand it deeply, that these powers are given to us by Krishna. We have seen many examples, even in physical sports as well. These people, they were like so powerful boxers and powerful in other sports as well. And now they are doing nothing. They could not even move. Because all these power, who is giving us? Power to speak. It comes through Krishna. Power to do anything comes through Krishna. So if we become proud or proprietor of these things, Krishna would not tolerate it. But that does, Yes, Jagai Madai. Actually, they were very sinful. They were not proud. They were very sinful. So Krishna subsided. He eradicated their sin. He took away their sin, not the proudful mentality. They were proud in the sense of, bad conduct. So he diminished the proud of, he ruined the proud of Keshav Kashmiri, and he surrendered because Mother Saraswati said, he is my Lord, you have to surrender to him. So he became his devotee, his disciple, devotee, whatever, devotee. Not disciple that time. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not giving initiation. So he became his devotee. So in the similar way, like Goswamis. Goswamis are very intelligent. But their intelligence is not tinged with the proud mentality. How many literature they wrote? Many literature, they gave samadhi. These literature are countless because they thought that general people will not be able to understand what we are writing. There is a book Samadhi in Samadhi place of Sanatan Gosai. So they wrote many literature, and they were so humble that one time one devotee, he was devotee only, he came and he found one thing in the work of Rupa Goswami, where he mentioned mukti, something. Like mukti he compared with the demon, chudel or something. I don't exactly remember the word. So Jiva Goswami, he was like saying that how can you compare mukti with such a word? So he accepted it. Rupa Goswami accepted it, but Jiva Goswami could not accept it. He went and he argued. But Rupa Goswami did not like this idea. Means I am speaking, I should also realize this while speaking, that it is not the mood of Goswami to prove ourselves. That's what Maharaj was saying. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was saying that when this education comes in the line of humility, then it becomes blessing. But when this education or our distinctions, material distinctions or whatever we are doing, these distinction comes as a proudful mentality, then Krishna just don't tolerate. Yes, Prabhuji, we can finish this purport.
But when Krishna, high in the sky, assumed the Mahima Siddhi, the demon, unable to go further, was obliged to stop his force and come down according to Krishna's desire. One should not therefore compete with Krishna's mystic power. Devotees automatically have all mystic power, but they do not like to compete with Krishna. Instead, they fully surrender to Krishna, and their yogic power is demonstrated by Krishna's mercy.
Actually, there is one example. I recently read it. I'm sorry, I'm going over time. But these topics are so vast that we can't help it. That, Yamunacharya, who was a guru of Ramanuja, not guru, he was a Alabandara. He was a starter of Shri Sampradaya. He was a Acharya of Shri Sampradaya, Yamunacharya. So Yamunacharya, means there are many more, but he is a recent main Acharya, Yamunacharya. His grandfather, Nath Muni, he was having mystic powers, mystic siddhis. And when he saw Yamunacharya, he got half of the kingdom from Pandya when he was 12 years old. So since his father was not there, his grandfather was not there, because his grandfather was became renounced because of the death of his son. So Yamunacharya was very poor in his childhood, but he was very intelligent and blessed. So just because he had the argument with Kolahal, who was one of the asset of Pandya king, so he got half of the kingdom. And he got diverted from his spiritual life, and somehow he got back on his spiritual life. I don't want to get into his life now, because we don't have so much time. But he learned from one of the disciple of his grandfather, those mystic power. So all these acharya, they are not ordinary. These mystic siddhi, they can learn. These mystic siddhis become servant of them. But Krishna is Yogeshwar. Krishna is all powerful. Krishna is a master. So he was devotee of Krishna, not he became the powerful mystic sadhu after learning all these things. Yes.
Devotees can show mystic yoga so powerful that a demon could not even dream of it, but they never try to demonstrate it for their personal sense gratification. Whatever they do is for the service of the Lord, and therefore they are always in a position superior to that of the demons. There are many karmis, yogis, and jnanis who artificially try to compete with Krishna, and thus ordinary foolish people who do not care to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from authorities consider some rascal yogi to be Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, these mystic siddhi, when person get and he use it for his personal sense gratification, it seems like they are God. We can see in the life of Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya, he was an incarnation of Vayu. But when he used to show his power, means that was his mood. And sometimes their rasa is different. So when he was showing his mystic power of, heavy, people used to, means he had so much intelligence, he used to defeat when he was like 5 years old and all. He knew everything. So people used to compare him with Krishna. Even servant of Krishna have so much power. If you read about Madhvacharya, he had so much power. He used to fist fight with a lion or tiger. And one time he had one person, he was asking for money. He brought some tamarind seed and gave that to that person. And he found out they are turned into jewels. So they have these mystic siddhi already. And people, by seeing all these things, they are comparing him with Krishna. Why I am saying this, that people get bewildered and think certain, since Madhvacharya was an acharya of our sampradaya, he never considered him as Krishna. He was always a servant of Krishna. But some people start considering, showing themselves, oh, I have this power, I am God. And people get bewildered, poor people. They don't understand that all siddhis are nothing. Anybody can easily get it. It's not like they are here. It's difficult. But when you are at certain level, it's easy to get. And by getting those siddhi, we cannot become Krishna. Yes.
At the present moment, there are many so-called Babas who present themselves as incarnations of God by showing some insignificant mystic wonder, and foolish people regard them as God because lack of knowledge of Krishna.
Yes. Thank you very much. So with this, we should end the class. And if anybody has comment, or if somebody wants to tell me the area of improvement.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. It was a nice class.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Speaking about the mystic power, even I can recall about the contemporary ones in ISKCON. My senior god brother Vajjayari Prabhu was here, and it was his first ever meeting with His Holiness Hanumat Preksha Swami. And he shared this with me. He said they never had any discussions, and Maharaj just told him that your father, wasn't he with Indian Railways on a very high post? And he was shocked. And I was thinking, how do you know this?
These are very common in ISKCON.
Right. And one time, Radhanath Swami was challenged by one, I think, maybe I'm speculating, was Olympics champion, athlete, gymnast, something.
Mm-hmm.
So he just happened to challenge Radhanath Swami. Oh, okay, you're a Swami, huh? So you have mystic powers. And Maharaj, as humble as always, said, I don't have any. So, but he challenged him to do push-ups. And they both started. Maharaj took off his shawl and they started. And Maharaj went on. He went on and on and on. And this athlete had to give up. And he kind of surrendered to him.
Thank you for sharing.
The
Actually-
residents of Vrindavan refer to Krishna, or refer to the God as the Hokshaja. So what does the Hokshaja mean?
I don't remember. So where in any verse it is
Yeah,
mentioned?
there's a verse that says perhaps we worship the Supreme Lord. And then, they were saying like we dug wells, we built
Where?
roads, and we worship God. And in that, so I looked up the verse, and
Which verse? 26th only?
The one where it says that we build roads, we dig wells.
Pious activity.
33, I think. Text 33, perhaps.
I will look into it and tell you, Prabhuji. It
So
just
they
escaped from my mind. You know, it is. I am recalling that instance when Madhvacharya's father, Madhya Geha Bhatt, he was giving lecture, and there was one instance when he was explaining something, and he could not tell the meaning of Lakku Chakri, and he was making up something. So then Madhvacharya got up. You are making fool to your audience. So then he told the meaning that it's a lime tree. So I'm feeling in the same way that I don't remember right now. So I will look into it and let you know. Adhopshaja. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So they were saying that we're worshiping God, known as a Hokshaja.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're like standing right next to God, and they're talking about God as if he's somebody else. So what's going on with that?
So this is Yog Maya. That's what Krishna wanted. Krishna is worshipped by all the people of the entire universe. When first time Narsinghadev saw, he wanted to become kid. Krishna wants to become friend. He wants to be beaten by his friend. He wants to be scolded by gopis. He wants to be subordinate. So that rasa can be given by those who can love him up to that extent without any exterior motive. Like I remember when I was reading about when Krishna went into the cave and he was fighting with Jamvan, when he was in Dwarka looking for Simantaka jewel. So it took him, I think 21 days, or I don't exactly remember number of days. So after few days, Dwarkavasi left. They left him in that cave in the hopeless situation that it might be possible Krishna might have left. So they were very sad. And when they saw Krishna coming with Jamvati, they became very happy. But if you consider this situation in terms of Brajvasi, when Kalia, he jumped into that Kalia episode. When he jumped into that water of Kalia, they were all devastated. They were all ready to jump into that water regardless the poisonous, how much poisonous that water is. That is the extent of love of Brajvasi. That's what he wanted. And just because of that love, he wanted them to understand him. He is not Krishna. He is not God. And he is getting caressed and he is getting fondled by them. Otherwise, there was certain incidents where Nanda Baba was protected by Krishna when he went to Varunalok, when he took early bath early in the morning, when Dwadashi was getting ended before sunrise, he had to take bath in Yamuna in darkness. And it is said when it is dark, you should not take bath in water. So Varuna's soldiers, they caught him, Nanda Baba, and Krishna protected him. And he was worshipped by Varuna and his associate. So they discussed among themselves, your son is getting worshipped, what is this? So then he told them that this is the prophecy of Gargacharya. Then Krishna showed them a spiritual word as well in that Akrura Ghat. He showed them some darshan, some vision. So there were instances that they had doubt, but Krishna never wanted it to be happened. So he put them into Yog Maya's illusion. So just because of his desire to enjoy their that's what it happened. Thank you so much for asking, Prabhu. But you know all these things, I know. Thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय.